Ryan, Steele from Australia.
Hey,
I'm just
good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. I'm over on that side.
All right, cool, yeah, sure.
Cool. So we're doing Channel 10 in Australia.
Cool.
All right, Rian Johnson, director of The Last Jedi. Let's talk pressure. You're following the highest grossing film of all time. It's getting compared to Empire Strikes Back. And last night, I saw you autographing 4 fans for 3 hours that were camping out all night. Yesterday, you got to see George Lucas talk about storytelling. What's your frame of mind as we're about half a year away from The Last Jedi?
Well, you know what? I mean, when I first came into it, kind of the way that I thought, okay, this is the way I know how to do this, was to kind of shut out all the abstract ideas of bigger pressure and go straight back to my 10-year-old self and say, I started as a fan and I know what these stories meant to me, and I'm just going to tap into that and I'm going to trust it. And so going out last night and meeting all the fans and seeing, you know, it's not like me and them, it's us. Like, this is all of us sharing this thing and seeing that they're coming from the exact same place. It was actually really comforting. If anything, it feels like it relieves some of the pressure, just knowing that we're all drawing from that same well of what these stories meant to us, and I feel like we've tried to be really honest to that in what we've created.
Let's talk about that 10-year-old fan, Rian Johnson. Fans have an expectation of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him for 30 years.
Yeah.
We missed him all of The Force Awakens. We want to see him be that heroic leader, igniting the green. How much did that affect your storytelling?
Well, greatly, obviously, because all the things you described are the things that I came into it wanting. I also, though, was coming into, I needed to do something that made sense in terms of where this story was headed. And that means what we know about Luke, where we find him at the end of The Force Awakens, and also how it's not just Luke this time. Daisy is coming up to the top of the mountain and offering, you know, Rey is handing out that lightsaber. So his story is her story, and they have to work together. So there were lots of different additional considerations, but, you know, for me, Luke was my guy growing up, you know, and that's the one that you look up to. And so, just so you know, that's like where my heart was at in the whole thing too.
Finally, for the first time ever, we're going to have a Star Wars film continue directly after in the saga series. At what point was that decision made, and how much collaboration with JJ did you undergo to make that like a seamless transition between the two storytellers?
For me, it was immediate, you know, and I read JJ's script, and he was in the middle of shooting it at the time, and I thought, I want to see what happens next. Immediately next. I want to see what that reaction is. It won't work for me to cut 2 years later. Because the enigma that JJ opened up of Luke at the end of The Force Awakens is so great. That's the question that I want answered in our movie, and so that seemed like the right starting place for it.
And what was JJ's reaction to your decision?
He was really supportive. I mean, it was, you know, it was funny. It was the writing process was very much kind of like a smooth baton handoff, sort of. I was able to kind of see his story.
A saber handoff, perhaps.
Ooh, we'll see. So I was able to read his script, read his story, and then think, okay, what makes sense? Like, what do I care about in this, and where can it go next? And he was so supportive of me taking it there, and just a great cheerleader.
Rian, personally, thanks so much for all you did for the fans over the weekend. It's so cool to have.
It was a blast,
like I know it was like it's a long wait.
Yeah.
And there was such positive vibes for what you came down and did, and I think you've made I know you've made lifetime memories for
I know I made
do you know
some
what I mean?
for myself.
Yeah. So thanks heaps, man. I really appreciate it. Can't wait to see the film.
All right, cool. Yeah, show it to you.
Hey you guys, thanks for watching, and please check out my other videos for more The Last Jedi cast and crew interviews from Star Wars Celebration Orlando. And while you're at it, click subscribe and you'll never miss a piece of sweet Steele Wars YouTube content. Go on, click it. It's just there. Click it. Click it. I'd love to know whether you've clicked it or not. I just can't. There's no way for me to tell. So let's just form a circle of trust that you've clicked the little Steele Wars logo that makes you subscribed. Great. And if you haven't already, please check out the Steele Wars podcast on iTunes or steelewars.com. It is my award-winning, humorous look into the world of Star Wars fandom. In-depth, fun Star Wars interviews, as well as talkback style call-in shows, live comedy podcasts, and blog pod audio diaries covering the big events in Star Wars fandom. It is all available on iTunes or at steelewars.com.